2024 is officially underway, and you're now surely going to see a barrage of creators out there telling you that you can get rich by Tuesday if you just pursue their some 47 recommendations of side hustles that they themselves probably aren't even doing. However, I'm here to say I have a plan. A proven plan that works, and that's through dividend investing. And a matter of fact, I'm about to show you all through my December dividend income, then wrap up today's video with the big reveal on my annual dividend income total, thus shattering yet another personal dividend income record. With that, let's go ahead and dive right in. So first off, I know I've shared it here before, but 2024 will be more about trimming down my portfolio and loading up on a select few of positions that I deem my never sell stocks, all of which are more dividend growth oriented. Now, as of this video, my portfolio consists of 22 individual stocks and 2 funds. Hopefully by the year's end, I'm going to get that down to about 10 to 12 positions max, which means, of course, I'm going to be selling out of a lot of positions, some of which I'm going to go ahead and mention today as I break down my December dividend income, which, by the way, today you're not only going to get the stocks that paid me out a dividend, but you're also going to see how much they paid me and then my exact thoughts on these specific holdings, all before jumping into my dividend tracker to see the power of dividend investing. The proof then is there in the pudding for all of you to take a look at and generate ideas about how to make more passive income. Now, how about we rewind back together to the 1st of December, where we had a dividend paycheck come in from Visa, ticker symbol V, which is a dominant leader when it comes to the digital payment services space, facilitating all of our transactions. Now get this, Visa has about 4.2 billion credit cards out there in this world, and every time we swipe them, that little fee charged to the vendor is pocketed by Visa. Now I want to go ahead and share with you this. Visa is actually one of my top picks for 2024 and beyond, and if we go ahead and look at that pinned comment, you're going to get more of those top picks, or that link will pop up right here for you to click over to that video, give it a watch. But right now, is Visa a buy? In my opinion, no, as Visa is trading for $260 per share, a P/E ratio of 32, not to mention insiders have been selling out of shares as recently as November, while smart money has been offloading shares as well, both indicators that the stock is quite overpriced. But should Visa come down, I'm certainly going to be loading up. I mean, we have quite an opportunity here, as it's had over 408% worth of appreciation over the last decade, won't be slowing down anytime soon. Now, I own just 3 shares worth of Visa, received $1.56, thanks to that dividend yield coming in at 0.8%. But here's where we got to take a look at this payout ratio at 21%, meaning plenty more growth to come. Right now, we get about 18% worth of dividend growth on average over the last 10 years. Not too shabby, but jumping over to the 5th of the month, the healthcare kingpin Johnson & Johnson, ticker symbol J&J, paid me a hefty dividend, and right now, it may just be your opportunity to consider adding Johnson & Johnson to your portfolio, as it's trading for just $156 per share, down by about 9.3% from this time last year. Likely in 2024, it's going to rise back up to that ceiling of $180 per share. Now, as we speak, analysts do expect that share price to climb up to $177 per share, but just hold on to a gem like this for the long term, as we see over 122% worth of appreciation. As for me right now, I only hold 101 shares, currently not seeking to grow this position anymore right now, but I received $120.33 thanks to that J&J dividend yield coming in at 3.04%. Just going to continue to hold and collect on the dividends here. 9% worth of growth over the last 20 years. Next up, I had a dividend paycheck come in from the largest utility, or one of the largest utility companies within the United States, Southern Company, ticker symbol SO, whereas they serve just over 9 million customers across multiple state lines. So as I always say, unless their customers really just decide to go back to the Stone Ages, you're very likely to enjoy some serious cash flow with Southern Company, as I did, collecting on $7.10 for only holding 10 shares, as that dividend yield of theirs comes in at 3.99%, to which the company really has just been building a beautiful track record here, 75 years worth of a dividend streak, roughly 4% worth of dividend growth year over year on average for the last 20 years. But is it a buy right now? In my opinion, I'm going to go ahead and pass on this one right now. It's trading for $70 per share, but this is another buy and hold gem at the right price, delivering through on appreciation over 170% worth of it over the last decade. Now, we have seen a ton of insiders also selling their shares as of recently as of November, but on the flip side of the coin, we also have hedge funds increasing their positions with Southern Company. Now, if a utility giant like Southern Company is not necessarily going to energize your portfolio or provide you with that safety you're looking for, you may want to look into Coca-Cola, ticker symbol KO. With over 200 brands, but their iconic soft drink remaining their crown jewel, this is just a company that you can buy and hold at the right price. Enjoy it really forever. It's at under $60 per share right now, trading for $58.93 per share, and it might be worth your consideration. It's never really going to be undervalued, but nice little P at 23.8 here. Let's go ahead and zoom out to see some steady investment performance here over the longer period of time to find over 100% worth of appreciation. Now, more recently, we've seen hedge funds that have actually been loading up on Coca-Cola, while analysts remain optimistic that this soft drink behemoth will climb back up to over $63 per share. As for me, I'm just going to go ahead and sit tight right now with my 25 shares, which allowed me to receive $11.65 thanks to that dividend yield coming in at 3.12%, and it's likely to just going to continue with its 103-year streak with that cool 8% dividend growth average over the last 20 years. Now, this next dividend stock is a real estate powerhouse that really will give you a run for your money as it's masked as a fast food powerhouse. It's McDonald's, ticker symbol MCD, which is another 2024 pick of mine to focus on this year, but not quite at this current share price here of $296 per share. But McDonald's really will only continue to expand. And let's be honest, no matter what the economic conditions are, families are going to continue, at least in my opinion, to enjoy those fast food burgers of theirs. But this past decade, it appreciated by over 302%. Now, I do want to have you take note here that insiders recently sold off about $6.8 million worth of the company's shares, meaning it may be a little bit of a waiting game for all of us retail investors, as it might be quite overvalued at this point in time. Now, I hold 3 shares worth of McDonald's. I received $5.24 thanks to that dividend yield coming in at 2.25%, uninterrupted there for 46 years and growing by roughly 17% on average over the last 20 years. And speaking of a real estate powerhouse, we now have everyone's favorite monthly paying dividend machine, Realty Income, ticker symbol O, which is one of the industry's leaders when it comes to net lease solutions, with their larger than average portfolio consisting of over 13,000 properties touching all 50 states and then some internationally. But here's really why we should all be amped up about this REIT, or REITs in particular, in 2024. As interest rates actually reverse course, REITs will be one of the biggest beneficiaries, as companies are going to go ahead and actually smoothly leverage those debts of theirs to continue to grow. As of this video, Realty Income still trades for under $60 per share at just $57 per share. That's down by about 5% from a peak a while back. But in the real estate game here for the longer term, you're going to reap Realty Income's growth, as the Realty Income team grew by over 145%, at least in terms of appreciation over the last decade. And a matter of fact, hedge funds have only been loading up rather recently, likely waiting for those interest rates to reverse course. And if you prioritize this gem, you're going to make a lot in terms of passive income here. I hold 112 shares. I received $28.81 thanks to this dividend yield coming in at 5.36%, likely to remain strong as it has been for the last 54 years, averaging about 5% worth of growth over the last 20 years. But if you're really looking now to take on, I guess, a bit more risk with what I think would be a 2024 turnaround play, join me when it comes to Tyson Foods, ticker symbol TSN, one of the largest processors of beef, chicken, and pork, gifting this investment with a wide moat. Now, I think we need some internal management work here when it comes to Tyson Foods, but we also need to see that macro environment really hasn't been working in Tyson's favor either. Cost of animal feed went up and cost of logistics and shipping. So all of that tied together, we see the stock share price plummeting by 12% this past year, trading for $53 per share. And you can see that negative PE there, but let's zoom out to the bigger picture. 96% worth of appreciation over the last decade. In time, we could see another turnaround here when it comes to Tyson Foods. Hedge funds are loading up, about 5.4 million shares purchased. And why I continue to hold on to 22 shares here, which allowed me to receive $11.07, is all because of this turnaround. So I will ultimately be selling out in due time, but for now, I collect on that 3.65% dividend yield. It's been uninterrupted for 32 years. It's been growing by 13% over the last 20 years. And speaking of a turnaround investment, we got another one on our hands with Stanley Black & Decker, ticker symbol SWK. It is the largest tool manufacturer in the entire world, supplying everyone's go-to picks from Home Depot to Lowe's. Now, this investment, I'd actually say I bet on a little bit too early, but nonetheless, it's certainly been delivering. It slid to the lows of $70 per share earlier last year, and then I bought in and came up to $98 per share, so I've actually seen some profits, but this is really just one to watch right now, in my opinion. I'm going to be selling out of my shares of Stanley Black & Decker, putting those profits elsewhere. In the meantime, though, if this one actually goes out of business, I'd be pretty shocked. We've seen 53% worth of appreciation over the last decade, likely to only see more. I received $16.92 for holding 21 shares, with that dividend yield coming in at 3.3%. Now check this out, over 146 years worth of uninterrupted dividends that the team would work very hard probably not to cut, rather just continue continue to grow at 6% worth of that growth rate. Coming up to the 29th year, we're going to finish out the month with 3 more dividend paychecks, with the first being from Lockheed Martin, ticker symbol LMT, which is yet another stock in focus for me in 2024. It's the world's most dominant defense contractor, leading the charge here in the defense industry in terms of weaponry, new battlefield technology, and aircraft. Now, Lockheed was not necessarily having the strongest of years, but just after Israel's war on terror broke out, the stock jumped and remains, in my opinion, a opportunity for the longer term investor. As you can see, it's currently trading for just $453 per share, lower PE ratio here at 16.6. But most importantly here is the growth over time, with over 307% worth of appreciation over the last decade. Analysts forecasting growth coming up to $482.75 per share. Now, I'm going to be a buyer here in 2024, currently holding 6 shares, allowed me to receive $19.79 thanks to that solid dividend yield coming in at 2.78%. Now, Lockheed has been on a dividend streak for the last 30 years and continues to deliver plenty of firepower, 18% worth of dividend growth on average over the last 2 decades. And then we have Dividend Energy, ticker symbol DVN, which is one that I focused on last year as a turnaround type of play. Hasn't really been working out to my favor thus far, but I do believe it will. It's actually priced right now at $45 per share at a PE of 7.7. Ultimately, I actually wanted to get rid of this one as fast as possible, holding on to it for a little bit longer here for a rebound. Analysts are projecting 20.8% worth of upside, coming back up to $54.73 per share. In the meantime, I'm just enjoying the dividends. I received $36.94 per share, owning 48 shares worth of the company, with that dividend yield coming in at 6.34%, and that's borderline safe growth of about 20% over the last 20 years. Now, as for the last dividend stock that paid me out in the month of December, we have the second largest bank in America. That would be Bank of America, ticker symbol BAC. That has more recently been rising, climbing by 3.6% on the year, with this lower PE ratio coming in at 9.4. And quite like JP Morgan, it's actually an industry safe house, if you will, with over 144% worth of appreciation over the last decade. Now, insiders have been selling out recently, but plenty of hedge funds have actually been taking advantage of the stock's depreciation here last quarter. As for me, I'm going to be selling out of my position here entirely. Hopefully in 2024, I only have 15 shares that allowed me to collect $3.36, thanks to their dividend yield coming in at 2.85%. Really nothing to tout about here when it comes to those dividend insights. Hopefully, again, I will be completely sold out of this position in 2024. Now, the last dividend payments came in from my ETFs, VTI and VTSAX, which cover the broad market. They paid me $218.52. Now, that all leads me to the total on the month, $481.53, shattering a personal best record of mine. Now let's go ahead and jump into this dividend tracker. I want you to see the magic here of dividend investing, month over month, delivering through on dividend firepower, the monthly dividend income, all adding up month over month to a total here of $2,245.53 on the year, giving way to an average monthly income of $187.13 per month. Now, investors, this year I'm about to double that. Mark my words. I'm curious to know now your dividend income goals for the year ahead. Drop them down in comments below. Catch more dividend stock ideas right here in this video, but before you actually click away, subscribe so you never miss a video in the year ahead.